Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us right here on Double Talk. My name is Mark Steffen.
Well, it won't be the first time I dug through garbage. Oh, I'm Michael Mandel.
What, are you looking for recycling?
No, he said yes, it's always good to, pretty soon that's all we're going to have to do for making a living, because it's all garbage.
Well, that's no way to talk about this show, Michael.
Well, we hope you're watching this garbage.
And we do recycle, and we recycle it. Catch a show again on Tuesdays.
It's on YouTube. Our show is on YouTube now.
True. It's also streaming live right now on the internet.
It's true. You can see us. We can harangue you no matter where you are in the country, in the world. If you were in Singapore, which I wouldn't mind if you were in Singapore, you could see the show.
I've been to Singapore.
Yes.
And I would love to go back.
Oh, maybe we could send in your dollars and your checks, and we can send Mark. We're going to do a send Mark to Singapore campaign, and
we should move the show to the Far East. It'd be wonderful.
It'd be cheaper. We wouldn't have to pay our producers so much.
We could put the show on the internet there.
It'd be really cheap. He's got a big family to support. We have to pay him so much for that. So we will stop doing that by doing the show in Singapore. Well, so next week it'll be live from Singapore. How's that?
Okay.
That sounds good. What are we going to talk about?
Well, the secondary word of Singapore is poor.
And the first is sing. So.
Sing for our supper.
Speaking of international news, we don't very often do international news, but Mark has a bug up his something, and he wants to talk about a bug up that's down people.
Well, that E. coli virus has contaminated food products in Europe right now. Somebody has sabotaged the vegetables over there, actually. E. coli comes from cows.
And it comes from our own intestines.
Feces.
We have E. coli. You always have E. coli.
It's fecal-based from mammals. And
that's pretty cool.
So they've dosed
green.
They've dosed the vegetable.
This is a picture
supplies.
of us as E. coli.
The vegetable supplies in Europe have been sabotaged with the E. coli virus.
Wait, who's saying they're sabotaged?
I am saying it.
You're the first one, right?
And
are you basing any of this on actual research or facts? No, it's suspicion. It's suspicion.
My theory.
So what happens when America has had outbreaks of E. coli? Remember lettuce and spinach?
It'll happen again.
The pig farms are someplace near the spinach farms, and the fecal water gets into it. So,
well, apparently that didn't happen in Europe, and that could very easily happen here. When they just, they release fecal matter or spray it onto vegetable crops.
It does happen
to make people sick.
This thing this is a worse strain that they have in Europe than we've had. Actually, luckily, Americans eat so much processed food and fast food that they don't really ever have anything pure. And also, we've built up such tolerance to this fecal matter because.
You think so?
Well, because the government, we eat a lot of, poop.
Well, they certainly serve it to us with their policies.
Yes, but we've had the same type of E. coli outbreak they did. I think the strain of E. coli they have is stronger. By the way, did you see my tie?
It's a more virulent strain.
I don't want to get off this incredibly important topic.
What tie?
It's probably hard to see in close up because it's so colorful. This is for the coming of summer. Summer officially is here June 21st, and I don't know what today is, but I think we're getting pretty close to that. When it starts getting hot all the time.
We've got almost 3 weeks,
summer.
Michael.
I know, but here, June is the hot month. The entire month is the beginning of summer for me.
Right.
Right after Memorial Day.
Yes, and hopefully this summer won't be the end of our mail service based in Las Cruces.
Well, where we get our mail sent from and delivered to doesn't really matter to the service that we get. Unfortunately, because they're going to consolidate the mail from Las Cruces into El Paso, we lose close to 20 jobs.
Well, we also lose a day's worth of delivery because it goes. You mail a letter here to somebody across town. Then it goes to El Paso, then it comes back to Las Cruces, and then it gets delivered to the person you send it to. So your bill could be late.
By a day.
By at least a day.
That way you'd be one day late in paying all your parking fines.
Well, that's if
all your red light fines, right?
Only if the mail gets delivered on time like it's supposed to, and that rarely happens. So it's at least a day late, 2 to 3 days late is more like it. I see no reason for the mail to be shifted to El Paso for Las Cruces.
You don't see it, but
no.
the mail company, or the post office does, because they're the ones who are paying these guys to do the stuff. Not only that, if you had something that is so time sensitive that it has to be there next day, why don't you just drive it over to their house if they're in Las Cruces, really? Not only that, we have so many electronic ways of sending things, although you haven't yet conquered the fact, did you ever conquer that? Actually copying something and putting it on your mail and sending it? No, you haven't done that.
You can't. How are you going to do that with a check?
Why don't you just do a direct deposit?
if
I pay a lot of things with. How many people do you owe checks to that need to be there that day?
None of your business.
Your parole officer, your the bail company, what?
Well, no. I've got to
works.
pay off people in Santa Fe to get a certain government job. Pay to play. That's how it works.
Oh, that's true.
Michael. You have to send checks off to the right people.
Money that's like $4,000, which is standard. Why even send that in a check? Just send penny rolls.
No, I send it in cash.
Yes.
That's the only way it works.
Well, penny rolls would be cash.
I send. Well, I don't want to pay the freight.
Would it be the dollar bills that people are stuffing in your G-string? Is that how you send?
In my second job.
Yes. That's how you can afford being a debonair.
Well, in today's economy,
host.
we all have to moonlight, Michael.
Yes. Well, and your moon is kind of light, isn't it? It sees the light often. I won't say anything about that. Hey, that's a good job for Chris.
Chris.
The guy who used to be on the show.
Oh.
I don't want to mention any names.
Call him up and tell him.
I'll tell him. He's watching this now. I just want to get him some extra work here, and that could be it. And he could be happy because it's a combination of show business, you work at night. It's great.
Just why you do that job.
Huh?
You have to do those jobs in El Paso. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no strip clubs here.
So what are you saying? That not only are we sending mail now, all the people who worked in the post office have to work in El Paso, but any male strippers have to work in El Paso?
Well, I happen to know that there are any number of female strippers that live in Las Cruces that commute to El Paso to work in strip clubs at night.
When you say strippers, you mean dancers, go-go dancers, right?
Dancers.
That's what you're saying, go-go dancers.
Dancers who remove their clothes for men in strip clubs.
In public places?
No.
Semi-public
private
places.
Semi-public.
Well,
you pay to get in, it's a private place.
If you pay to get in, it's
it's private property.
Oh, it's private property.
Private property.
So that should be legal. So why can't
it is legal?
Why can't you do it in Las Cruces? If it's legal,
they've tried
why don't they do it in Las Cruces?
Remember
that place,
here,
the Lantern, out on
yes.
70, and that building, that's real estate. It's still. Why don't they make it into a laundromat?
And you know what happened when they tried that here.
That's why they're no longer in business, right?
Well, there were forces that marshaled against them and drove them out of business.
What were those forces?
The Christian Coalition, or whatever they called themselves.
Is that the
moral
forces?
majority?
They
whatever.
twisted the arms of the local government. Is that what happened?
They went out there. They picketed the place. They took pictures of license plates of people walking in and out of the place. They just harassed them out of business, pretty much.
Which shows, don't use your own license plates.
And it was a legal business.
It is.
There's nothing illegal about it.
Except that the popular appeal.
Well, we don't pick at their church.
We are very strict, but not strict enough, perhaps, in our legal dictates. I understand somebody got a minor citation for actually killing his dog.
Well, for letting it starve to death.
Yes.
It got a minor for it was extreme neglect, they called it. And horrendous, the veterinarian called it horrendous neglect, the worst he had ever seen.
One of those kind of dogs, which is called a bassett hound, I believe.
It was a bassett hound. Actually, the poor thing had tried to give birth, but he was too weak to do so, and the puppies weren't even able to come out, and they stayed inside the dog's body and actually just liquefied in there.
Liquefied.
And then she got infection from it and got extremely ill, and they took her to the veterinarian.
Died
more
within
than
a week,
once.
right?
They had to have surgery. First they did surgery to do a cesarean to get the puppies out, and they turned to jelly. And so the dog was trying very hard to survive.
But I believe now they're looking to press felony charges on that guy. So we'll see what happens.
A hue and cry went up and said, no, he can't get away with that.
Because dogs are very nice and helpful. Dogs are,
Man's
good.
best
They
friend.
make people happy. Well, for those who don't have any best friends.
Well, anybody who does that to a dog, first place, I think
shouldn't own a dog.
Needs mental therapy immediately.
So give them. They just don't care enough about their dogs.
Well,
there are dogs that really help people. Like, for instance, what?
Well, seeing eye dogs help people.
Seeing eye dogs, yes.
Or what they call service dogs. They're not just seeing eye dogs. They're dogs that help deaf people, help people who can't walk. And this new dog.
Well, how does a dog help somebody that can't walk?
Because
really, you ride them.
No, he goes and fetches things for them. They'll say, get phone.
Get beer.
Phone rings. Get beer.
Get a beer. They know how to open up the refrigerator. Go get it. I never heard of those.
Haven't seen the dogs going along with people in the wheelchairs?
No.
Well, I have.
I never. Did you ever see a dog sniffing somebody to see if their glucose level is low?
No, but we have now.
We have. That's incredible. Is that true?
Dogs like to sniff people. Now, now he's doing it as a job.
Who is that?
This
Chihuahua?
Yes, a Chihuahua, a local Chihuahua, has actually been trained to help his owner who's got diabetes. And so the dog can sniff if the man's glucose levels are off, and alert the man before he goes into an insulin shock or a diabetic coma.
Guy can't tell himself, huh?
Well, the dog can tell before he can.
Well, that's pretty good. That's
For instance, if the guy's asleep,
so, but if the dog
can,
if
wake
the
him
dog
up.
barks, would the guy then take his glucose level, or would he just give himself a shot? Do you think you need somebody? You need something to make sure the dog could be barking because it's hungry.
Well, no, the dog is trained to behave in a certain way if the man's glucose or insulin levels are off. It can actually smell that.
Dogs love, especially Chihuahuas. They love to yap. I love to yap too.
Now, here's the thing about the Chihuahua.
I don't really help people with diabetes.
First, they train the Chihuahua to make us overeat and get by talking us into buying Taco Bell.
Taco Bell Chihuahua.
So we get a high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes. Now they use the Chihuahua to save us from all that.
So life is one big circle.
It's one big circle, yes.
The dog makes you eat Mexican food.
The Chihuahua circle of life.
Whatever, bad things for you. And then the Chihuahua tells you when you should shoot up or whatever.
Well, it's only fair. It's going to make us,
That's true.
die, so it should help save us from dying.
Yeah, it's very good. Good old Chihuahuas.
Yes.
Actually, Chihuahuas are so good, they named a city after them.
In
Mexico, they named a whole county.
Well, they named a restaurant here in Las Cruces after one.
They did.
I think
maybe that's where we should eat. No, it is out of business, yes.
Even the one at the university?
So, no, it might be there.
Right, the food court?
Well, yes, we're talking about food, and that's one of our exciting topics, because we love talking about food.
Well, they eat dog in China.
Yes, they do. But Chihuahuas, that's like for an appetizer.
Well,
that's on the
not a lot of meat on those bones.
Yes, wushu pork. So since we're talking about food, we're going to break here, and
we'll be right back.
See you in a couple of seconds.
After these words.
Oh, that's so cute.
Welcome to La Buena Vida Women's Club, located away from the crowds but close to home. Come in throughout the day for Jazzercise, the world's dance fitness leader for nearly 40 years. Treat yourself to a relaxing massage, or unwind in the lounge area or outside on the balcony with friends. La Buena Vida Women's Club, located and designed with women in mind. For information, call Diane at 650-9721.
Celebrate, celebrate, Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
Taunton Interiors, make yourself a beautiful home.
The most beautiful homes in Las Cruces have one thing in common. It's Don Tan Interiors, the local experts in granite countertops and fine kitchen cabinetry. When it comes to home improvement, think Don Tan Interiors.
Taunton Interiors, make yourself a beautiful home.
And we're back. Welcome to Double Talk. Mark Steffen back with you, along with Michael Mandel.